This week on In the Field, shooting some textures in Poway, California. Hi everybody, my name is Scott Davenport and welcome back to In the Field. This week's a little different than others. I'm not out shooting a landscape or in the desert or on a local mountain. I'm shooting textures. And how this came about is my normal routine, at least one day during the weekend, is getting up very early morning shoot, and then running a few errands before getting home and starting get the kids out of bed and do all that kind of stuff with the family and get the rest of the day going. And now that the sun is coming up earlier and earlier, and I'm finishing up the shoots earlier and earlier, places that I would normally run by to take care of X, Y, and Z, they're not open yet. So I've got this period of time between I've done with my main shoot, but I've got a little bit of time to kill. And so this go round, I ended up going to this little old park in Poway, California, and they've got some rail cars. They actually have a working railroad and things like that there. But the couple of rail cars there had some really interesting textures on them. So let me just show you this footage from the park, and then talk a bit about how I shoot the textures. The town of Poway is about 25 miles or so north of San Diego downtown. There's downtown San Diego. And up inland, we have the little park that's, just kind of tucked in among all of what is now, a large area of suburbia in San Diego. And you probably have a park like this too near where you live. It's a little sketchy to make out on the satellite imagery here, but this is an old rail station. They actually have a working rail car that circumnavigates just through this grassy area here. And underneath this spot, there are a couple of rail cars. They're just up on blocks, not moving anywhere, but make great subjects for texture work.
So I came to this little park. It's an old rail station, essentially. So it's got some old rail cars, some tracks here. I'm going to fiddle about here, do some study, some subject studies, some things with the tracks, leading lines, and in particular this little shock control car. Looks like it's got some good textures. I'm going to get some close-ups on that for some texture work. So I'm shooting some of the textures on this, and these will make for nice texture blends for the types of photos. So how I'm set up, I've got definitely shooting on a tripod for the texture. I want it to be very stable, very sturdy. So I've got anchored on these steps here, and then I'm shooting at f8 using a cable release, and just making sure that when I do fire the shot, I'm not stepping on these stairs that are holding up the tripod. I don't want to introduce any shake, so the texture will be very crisp and very clean. And I'm focusing in on something like right about there. And I'll take a bunch of others too. Some of these, these old fonts, Smooth Ride, and some of the boxcar numbers, those look pretty cool too.
So textures are something I'm always on the lookout for, and I like them because they can take a ho-hum shot and make them more interesting. I use them quite a bit for things like the I was here type photo. You're traveling somewhere and there is, landmark X that you have to shoot, but it's the middle of the day and the sky is completely clear. Maybe it's gray and overcast, there's nothing there, or it's clear and blue and just not very interesting. Textures can add something to the photo and sometimes can take it in a completely different direction. So I'm always on the lookout to add to my texture library. So shooting textures, you saw I did use a tripod. I think that's very important. I want to get, even though the plane of focus is very, very narrow, I still shoot at something like f8, and depending on lighting conditions, I will use a polarizer to cut down on just different colors bouncing around. So using the tripod is important. I might still have a tenth of a second, and at least for me, hand holding at a tenth of a second, I don't always get something that's tack sharp. So that's really it. I can show you here a few of the images I came away with, and these are not for publication. These are for use with other images to add some different kinds of stylization. So there won't be a corresponding in-post episode this week for these. There's no special processing that happens with this. It's make sure nothing's blown out, overexposed, or underexposed. Maybe add a bit of detail or clarity, and that's it. So that's not particularly interesting, I think. If you're truly interested to see that, then let me know and I'll put together a quick video on it. But otherwise, that's it for this week in the field, and I will see you again pretty soon. Bye.